Hello, welcome back. We're doing another movie review today. I'm Brandon Reines.
I'm Faizel John Muhammad, and I just want to remind you guys that if you like what you're seeing, remember to like, remember to subscribe, remember to comment, remember to do everything.
Thanks, everyone. So, Faisal, why don't you let everyone know what movie we're reviewing today?
Oh my God. All right, we'll get into it. We're doing Lucky Day from 2019. Roger Avery's, is it his fifth film? Sixth film. It is his sixth film that he has directed.
Not a lot of people have seen me angry before, but
Did you not like this thing either?
I like
I tried, Brandon. I
fuck this
tried.
movie. I'll say it right now. Like this, I love bad movies. I've seen The Room 20
This
times.
isn't a bad, yeah, this is.
This is so beyond every level of
It's
insulting.
so terrible. I tried. I tried to watch it twice. I watched it the first time and I fell asleep halfway through it. So I watched a little bit of it. I got enough to get pissed off and I fell asleep. So I was like, all right, well, I gotta finish this thing. And I popped it in and I tried to watch it. And I got about three-quarters of the way down. And I'm like, I can't. This is so dumb. It's so bad.
It's so yeah. Which is weird because the last movie we reviewed, Killing Zoe, was also by him, and this is an unofficial sequel
Yes, because
to that.
it's Red who gets out of jail, right?
Yeah, so I was figuring, and you didn't like Killing Zoe, whereas it was one of my favorite movies. So I was like, are we going to be switched? Is Faisal going to like? But I was like, there's no way. There's no way a human being could like
Couldn't
this
like
film.
this. Oh my God, can we talk about did they ever was Nina Dobrev faking her French accent in the canon of the film too, like Crispin Glover was, or was that just a choice she made to be that bad at her French accent through the
I
movie?
wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell. It's like
Because at one point Crispin Glover was doing his terrible French accent. I was like, why is he doing this? Did Crispin Glover? Because Crispin Glover is a crazy motherfucker. I was just like, did he just show up and start doing the French accent? And then the director was like, yeah, let's go with it. But then like in the bar scene, they're like, he doesn't even talk in a French accent. He thinks he's French. That's why he talks in that accent. I was like, so this was in the script that he does a fake
I
French accent?
I was almost thinking that they were like, oh, he plays a French guy, so do a French accent, but he played it so stupidly that they're like, no one's gonna believe this is a real French guy. So let's add in a line of dialogue where they say that he's faking it the whole time. So
I
it's
agree. You know what? That's probably it. They
so you
should
have
have
a whole
added the
movie
similar
with
line for Nina Dobrev.
so you have a whole movie with a guy faking a shitty French accent, and it's so annoying. Like you can't even pay attention to what he's saying because the accent is so jarringly
Oh my
offensive and
God.
stupid that it's like I'm not listening to him. I'm just it's like why is he talking like that? It's so and the thing is like French accents are I think they're one of the ones like whenever anyone fakes it, they always go so over the top. It's like French people don't speak like that. Like they
Well, I think he was going for like a live action cartoon, which is also like I think I mentioned that's the vibe I got for Killing Zoe. I think this that's the vibe he's going for here is like we're gonna make it as crazy as a cartoon. We're gonna make it like Pepe Le Pew because like Crispin Duffler also does some crazy kills. He's like, I finished having sex with that woman and then
yeah,
I kill her. But that's something you say in a cartoon. That's not so like it. I think he was trying to go as crazy and over the top in terms of a live action cartoon, but like none of it is likable. None of it is funny. None of it is like it's stylized, but like what style? Like the bartender with the Hitler mustache and the whole thing. I just don't get any of the choices for the style made in this.
I think they tried to make it, yeah, like you said, very stylish. They tried to like give it its own little world. It's kind of like a stupid version of Pulp Fiction. Like Pulp Fiction kind of had its own world. They had their own way of talking. This one, they tried to take it to the next level, and I think it just backfired more than any movie's ever backfired. Like there was no character that was interesting. There was no like every word said was stupid. Like it wasn't
It's
like,
so
some
dumb.
some movies have bad parts where it's like, oh, it's okay, those parts. This was like dialogue after like every line, and you could tell they were trying to be funny. Like they thought
Oh
they were
man,
gonna make you laugh. And it insults me that they were like they thought
when
I
the
was gonna like find this funny.
when the daughter is like, "Oh, she was so hurt when you left that she only speaks French now."
Yeah, like
It's like, what the hell? Or like Crispin Glover's first kill, where he like slices the guy across the throat, and the guy's like, "Ah."
yeah,
You know what made me think it was a cartoon? And this would have been good in any other movie. It's just because it's cushioned in such a shitty movie that even that scene pissed me off. But like in any other movie, I would have thought it was funny. But like the one where they're in the bar and then he shoots the one guy's head off because the guy's like, "You insult us, you have kill his girlfriend," and then he shoots his head off, and then like he walks around for a little bit, and then he drops, and then he like, and then he dies. I don't want to be that person. Because like sometimes I know what people are talking about when they feel like people are scolding them for trying to be edgy. But like parts of this movie felt offensive and racist.
Yeah,
Like parts of this movie felt really racist to me in a way where I'm like, you're not being funny.
it's like when someone tells like a dirty or racist joke and you're just like, ah, like it's like fuck, like it makes you feel uncomfortable for being in the same room as it, like
It'd be better if it was funny, but the jokes didn't land, and we're just sitting here with this awkward thing you've said now between us.
yeah, and it
It's
was it
like
was like that, it was like that, and then the next line of dialogue will be the same thing, and it's like back and forth of like it's like oh God, this is so like painful to watch. Like I couldn't imagine like watching this with a group of people, like you'd all be sitting there in awkward
oh my
silence
God.
and like
I'd
uh,
want to turn it off. I almost watched it with a friend because I was like, well, I gotta watch this movie. Let me call a friend over and let's like sit down and watch it and enjoy it. But like, yeah,
it's like
I'm
and
so glad I didn't.
even in the world of this story, it's like, okay, this Crispin Glover guy, he's this like hardcore French guy apparently. He's like this hardcore ruthless killer.
What they call he's a retirement specialist.
Yeah, but the thing is like so he goes to the bar and he goes to that guy who's like a weapons dealer to buy like a bunch of firearms. So this guy at the bar has this collection of like this huge weapons collection. And then Crispin Glover, treats the guy like shit, and then he like fucks his girlfriend. It's like, okay, maybe this Crispin Glover guy is like tough and scary, but if you're a weapons dealer, you have access to firearms. You could shoot this guy in the back of the
The
head.
guns are right there.
Like, why is he putting up with them? And then so the Crispin Glover's like, I also want. He's like, I want to fuck that girl that was in there, and he's like, oh, that's my girlfriend. And then he's like, oh, but sure, what's mine is yours. So he lets Crispin Glover fuck his girlfriend, and then Crispin Glover, what he like, fucks her too hard, or he strangles her, and she dies. And then it's like everything is on that level of offensive, where it's like, is
Oh
this
my God, no,
a
he killed
joke?
her because he didn't want, he was like, they always want to cuddle after the
Oh,
orgasm. And it's just like, did you write this?
like
Did you write these actual words?
it just sounds kind of like an immature 14-year-old boy watched Pulp Fiction and then was like, I'm gonna write a really dirty version of my own thing and they just put swear words in there and dirty sex jokes, but they don't
You
quite
know, I was
understand it.
thinking about it, and like because Roger Avery is associated with Quentin Tarantino, and he's made blockbuster films in the past, and he has access to a budget, we have to watch this film. We have to be aware of its existence. But if this was like another Edmonton filmmaker, nobody would have seen this film. This film would have like tanked hearted. It's just not good, even with the star power. Were there any particular scenes that you found like particularly like where you were like, this sucks? I was like, I feel like when it started and they had Red come out of the prison and like he meets his daughter, and I was like, okay, let's get into this. Let's see how it goes. And I'm waiting for it to hook me. I don't think I ever got a sense of like, this might be an interesting premise. I'm trying to remember where I was just like, yeah, this is going to be shitty. I think it's Nina Dobrev. When I saw Nina Dobrev and I heard her speak in that crappy French accent, and I was like, what is this? And then like Crispin Glover comes and they double down on the French accent. I was just like, oh, this is gonna suck.
Yeah, like it started out like the opening scene, the guy in prison, and he was getting released from prison. That was
Was he like
okay.
working out or something? I don't even remember how it
Yeah, he was like
started.
he was in his cell and he was like doing push-ups and talking in narration or whatever.
Right,
It
and he
was
had the
like
tattoo on his back, which did that ever come into play?
I don't think so. My attention by the end
I
was
know.
on, but I was willing to give it a chance then. And then they had Crispin Glover showing up at the airport, and it's one of those where like it's just like every plot point is so contrived because he's like at the he goes up to like customs or whatever.
You were on the no-fly list.
Yeah, he's like you're on the no-fly
Very
list, but then the guy
brilliant.
at customs looks over, he's all these like African people are coming in, and he gets distracted. So he's
Man,
like,
I'm telling
okay, I'll
you,
let you in. And it's like,
this movie is low-key racist. Like when he's like the gun dealer who's like, because Chris Duff is like, is all you have is Glocks, and he's like, these gangbangers, all they want is Glocks, and they Glock this. And then when people run out of the club, it's all black people. I couldn't help but notice, and I'm just like that has to be a conscious choice. You're not sitting there as a director, especially a director in Roger Avery's position, and throwing out a casting call for like club patrons, and you just happen to get an all African American group of people that come in, and then you're just like, well, I guess they're just gonna have to run. You have to specifically be like you, you are going to be in my club, and then when the shit goes down, you're going to run. And you have to make these choices. Like I don't understand why, if there's a point to be made about having like everybody about saying these racist things, or there's a point to be made about all the black people running out of the club while the rest of the white people hang around and shoot each other. That'd be fine if I could tell what it is the point that you were trying to make. But like, and you're not trying to be racist. I can't imagine you as a racist person like Roger Avery. I can't. So like, what are you doing? What is the point?
Yeah, I don't. I yeah, there was so yeah, even just like yeah, that whole point. Yeah, there's like these like black gang bangers or whatever outside the bar, but then you go in and they're like it's all like French people and like white French people, and it's like what it just doesn't. I mean,
What is the point?
it just seems like okay, that's an odd choice. I never picked up. I like the impression I get was that they weren't trying to be racist. They were just so incompetent and trying to make offensive jokes that they did that inadvertently. Because like, it, but it's like, how could you not know? It's like this. I could see if this
Like,
was
just
like
were you blind?
1974, where it's like, okay, they make some jokes that would not be appropriate these days. But this is
But
2019.
2019. Like, I also stand by you. If you want to do something overtly, let me think. There's a movie I really like called Watermelon Man from the 70s, and it's about a white man who wakes up one morning and finds out that he's a black guy, and he has to deal with all the problems that come up with being a black guy. And like, it's funny. I will defend it even in 2024. I will show people this movie and be like, this is not racist. This is funny, and it has a point to make. This movie has no point to make.
Yeah,
It's
like
not
it's
funny. It has no point. It has nothing.
yeah, but like yeah, that so opening scene at the airport. Like I was still willing to give it a chance, even though I was starting to be like, wait, what? And then so then they cut to Crispin Glover is in the airport parking lot, like trying to steal a car. And it's like, okay, they're trying to be funny again, but like if this is like a successful, wealthy guy wearing a suit, like you telling me that he can't rent a car or take a cab or like he has to go in
Well,
like
the guy that they have confront him, he's so funny. He's like, "Well, I'm going to call the cops because you're breaking into my car." And it's just like, who are you making fun of here?
yeah, and it's like okay, and then Crispin Glover, the guy he's like some kind of hipster, he has a big beard, so Crispin Glover uses his like little Jimmy thing that he's using to break into the car. He like slashes the car owner's throat with that, and you
And
see like
cuts his beard.
his beard gets cut off too, and it's like okay, and then he backs up over the guy, and like. But the thing is, like Crispin Glover steals the guy's keys to drive a car away. But what was he gonna do if he wasn't expecting the guy to confront him? So how did he expect to like get the keys? Like it's
That's just such a problem with this film is like I think you're expected to believe like Crispin Glover's character, you're expected to believe he's so cool and so like international and like he can hotwire a car, but they do nothing to show us that. And like Crispin Glover doesn't sell it as like a cool international hitman. He sells it as like some crazy person doing a fake French accent.
yeah,
Like
like I didn't at any point I didn't believe that character. Like he's not intimidating. He's like the geeky dad from Back to the Future trying to act tough. It's like and he has the like an over the top French accent is not scary. Like it's just like
well, thinking about like people who have over the top accents that I enjoy in those kinds of roles, Benicio del Toro. I've seen him play like a hitman and an assassin a bunch of times, and I like him in like he's kind of like goofy. He's got a funny accent, but he can also sell this like he will seriously hurt you. Whereas like Crispin Glover can't sell that like he's dangerous or he will hurt you. And the script is so over the top that it makes his ability to sell it even less.
like from the yeah, and then it kind of each progressive scene got a bit worse and worse to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm starting to get more offended. It's starting to piss me off. And then I got about halfway through, I was like, you know what? We're gonna do this review. Like, I owe it to Faizel and the people watching
We
that should
gotta
at least
watch
watch
this.
it. But I'm just like, fuck this movie. So basically, I kept it running. I actually started working on the Higher Universe taxes because I was just bored. So I'm sitting there just working on my stuff while it's playing in the background. And by the end, I wasn't even, I don't even know how it ends. I wasn't even
I
paying
didn't either,
attention.
honestly, with you. Like I said, I tried to watch it twice and I was just like, this is just so not a good film.
And
But
like
you know what?
I could sit through a lot. Like I like bad movies. I could
That's the thing.
even some boring movies. It's like there's something to you'll get out of it. This I was like honestly I can't even think of a time in recent history where I've hated a movie this much. Even
I
like
have
Madam
watched
Web,
the
like
worst movies.
Morbius, like all those shit Marvel movies weren't that bad. Like this movie, like it was fucking terrible.
There was only two movies, and now it's three movies that I've ever walked out of my entire life. One was epic movie. Halfway through that, I just turned it off. I was like, I'm done with this. The other one was Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. We went to the theater to see it, and like I just hated it so much I left. And now this movie was just like it just didn't I didn't want to watch it. My brain was just like, this is stupid. But at least I feel better as a filmmaker knowing that like if Roger Avery can conjure up however many million dollars to like do this piece of shit, like damn, okay, well, I guess anybody's buying ideas.
Yeah, and I think we mentioned this maybe it was the Killing Zoe review how like that time especially when like Pulp Fiction came out there's a time in the 90s with there's movies like Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead there was all those kind of Pulp Fiction knockoff that movie was actually good Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead but there was a whole bunch of indie ones like that where they're all like the wisecracking
Hyper
criminal
stylized.
hyper
Yeah.
silent movies and a lot of them were pretty bad but that was like 94 to 98 kind of time like we're way beyond that now. Like
There's better movies you can rip off
yeah, and
or closer movies.
if you're trying to say like revive that kind of thing, this is not the way
This
to
is not
go.
it.
Like
Well, has he made anything since then? I think this is the last thing he made. Even yep, yeah, in 2019, this was the last thing he made. Wow. Do you think he's got a new movie coming up?
I don't
Oh
know,
my
like
God.
it just and it's funny because doesn't this have like a 5.1 rating on IMDb? So it's like half the people thought this was like good. Like I don't.
It has a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, is what
Okay,
I
see
saw.
that I can buy. Like even that I'm surprised that there's some like and the thing is like I always go into things like I try to find something to like because I've said before it's hard to make a movie. They put effort into it.
Again, it's that thing about the boxers. You can't talk shit about two people who get in the ring and beat the shit out of each other,
Yeah.
but this was not a boxing match. This was Mike Tyson versus Logan Paul. You can talk shit about this because it was
Yeah,
not.
there's a difference between bad because you're incompetent, right? Like you're the room. You tried, you did your best, and it's like you didn't know what you're doing and it sucked. That's fine. This is like you've made good movies before. You were working with professional people who have made like these good movies. There's no reason for this to be that insultingly bad.
I think this was Roger Avery just being like, you know what? I am so good that anything that tumbles out of my head will be automatic gold. So I'm just
Did,
gonna jot down any idea with no editing, with no like feedback.
did he write it too?
Oh, let me see. I don't remember if he wrote it or not, but I feel like he did. I think this was like his baby. Yeah, he was the writer and the director.
Which is so weird because Killing Zoe was also like a French, he's not a French guy, but the movie took place in France, French people that spoke French, but they talked like how French people actually talk.
So
Somehow,
he knows what French people sound like.
but somehow, like 30 years later, he forgot. And it's like insulting to French people and to like every other group of people. How do you screw that up after doing it correctly once?
You know, maybe this movie would be better if you put a bunch of like boing noises, like
Yeah,
a bunch of sound effects in there.
like it's so like yeah, this is like an R-rated Looney Tunes movie. Like
It
it's
is.
just like the stereotypes are just offensive and stupid, and it's like every joke is like a groan kind of joke where it's like I can see they're trying to be funny, but it's not. I almost want to like do like a play-by-play where we like do like the Mystery Science Theater where we just sit there and talk about every moment as it
This sucks.
I almost want like because there are bad movie fans out there, and when you see a real piece of shit movie, like if I see someone on YouTube that's like going on about some movie, I'm like, I gotta watch that. I want to see this absolute shit movie. With this one, it's like I have a hard
I
time
wouldn't
even
recommend that.
recommending it because
No,
it's not fun to watch. Like
if you have an hour and a half of time that you're like, I want to burn this hour and a half and I never want to get it back and I want to do something incredibly unproductive and I have no drugs left, then watch this movie.
yeah, I'd recommend maybe watch like the first 20 minutes just so you could see what we're talking about. So you can be like, oh, okay, I get it now. Because I
I
like
don't even care what happens to these characters.
because I watch some movie reviews, and they'll be like trashing this movie, and then I'll be like, I can't. It's like I haven't seen it, so all I have is their interpretation. Like I want to see it so I can be like, now I get what they're talking about. So
And
people
some of those movies ended up being some of my favorite movies. I think Frankenhooker was one that I watched that was like one of those situations where I watched a YouTube where they were making fun of it. And I was like, but you know what? This actually seems really good. So I downloaded it, I watched it, and I was like, huh, I love this. This is one of my favorites now.
Frankenhooker. When did that come out?
1990, I think it was the same guy who did Basket Case,
Oh, okay,
Henelander.
okay, yeah, I haven't seen that, but yeah, I think it's on my
It's really good.
Yeah, I bet you it is. And there's kind of like there is that different it's kind of like Moist Critical calls it fun bad. Like there's a
Yeah,
lot of movies like
exactly.
that. And there's
Well,
different
well,
levels.
well,
There's some bad, like that's like incompetent bad, there's like fun bad, and then there's like boring bad, and then there's like offensive bad, which I think
Well,
Lucky
there's like there's we didn't have the budget, so we have to make up for the budget in terms of like making it funny, making it unbelievable, making it whatever. And then there's I had every budget concern that I wanted. I had every like I had locations, I had A-list actors, and I still what I like I just basically burned all that. Like
yeah.
you might as well just set all of that on fire, and it would have been a more entertaining spectacle than
Yeah,
this.
it's well, yeah, it's one of those things where like some movies are so cheap that they have to have cheap effects and everything. And it's kind of ch funny and charming. Grotesque is kind of an example, right? Where it's like, yeah, it's all creativity and it's enjoyable, but people kind of like the just the fact that we put the effort into it. Yeah,
Oh,
Lucky Day is
compared
a
to
movie.
Lucky Day, yeah, the story for Grotesque is 6 million. I care about what happens to those characters.
Yeah, like Lucky Day is the opposite. They, like you said, they have every. If you watch it on mute or something, and it's like this is a
It
professional
looks
movie.
nice.
It looks good. This is a big budget Hollywood movie. It's the story, like it's the things that happen. It's the dialogue, all that
Oh,
stuff that it just like people made this. Like, did they think it was gonna work, or were they trying to be bad? Like they thought, like did they think people were gonna be laughing at the jokes? It just
I, were they laughing at the jokes when they were filming this?
yeah, yeah, like I could see them, Crispin Glover doing his French accent. They were like, "That's so hilarious!" Like, what kind of
Oh my
people
God,
are
can you
these?
imagine what the theater premiere must have been like for this piece of shit where Roger Avery shows up and he's like, I got my new movie to show you. And then they all go into the theater and they all watch it. And then they have to be like, that was really good, Roger. That was,
Yeah, it was probably just dead silence the whole time, and they're like so embarrassed. It's like
oh my God.
that's like every filmmaker's nightmare is that like no one laughs. I can't see anyone like
You know what? I will amend my statement to say you should watch this movie if you want to know what doesn't work in film. Like if you want to compare your project against this and see like this is a solid example of every wrong decision made in the film.
yeah. Like I said, like it's almost like it's an achievement of its own. It's like mesmerizing how like even shitty movies somehow they might go like 30 seconds where it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. This
There's a
one
little
it's
charm involved.
there's like there's not a shot that isn't even when the Crispin Glover first goes into the bar like and the guy's like dancing behind the bar, even that pissed me off. Like
So
it's like
bad.
everything's the wrong like it's supposed to be serious, right? You're dealing with, murder and all this other stuff, and then it's like everything is played as a joke. And it's like if they don't like if the character like even in Pulp Fiction, which was kind of funny, the guys in the movie, the characters, they were this was serious to them. Like the things they were
Well,
saying were funny, but they took it seriously. In
you
this,
can't have your funny characters like know they're being funny. You
yeah.
the art of a straight man is like an art of like being a straight man for like a funny thing is an art.
But they were like, yeah, every character. It's like they knew everything. Make sure you have like a funny look on your face. When every line, do it funny. Be doing a funny dance and how show how funny you
Mug
are.
for the camera. It's like, do you remember the Ernest movies?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
kind of like that without the charm, where they're constantly mugging for the camera.
yeah. Like, and even the Ernest movies were kind of funny, at least at the time.
Yeah,
It's been a while, but like there was something to them, right? Like they put effort into it. And it could be that they were trying to do something so off the wall that they're going to try like a completely new style of filmmaking, of storytelling, and it just happened to fail.
they
Like,
went so off the wall that they left the wall, they left the building, they
yeah,
went out into the yard and took a big old crap.
I think like I even like I watched it yesterday and I still there's so many things I can't remember. I think it's like I blocked it out of my mind because I remember I was like, I got to comment on this part. I got to comment on this. But then it was like I'm like, I finally lost track. I'm like, there's no point in
I
making
wanted to pull out
notes.
a notebook to take notes, and I was just like, there's no point in taking notes on this. I don't want to remember it.
Yeah, it's like trying to do like editing revisions on a manuscript when every single word is spelled wrong. It's like eventually it's like there's no point in doing it because there's going to be more notes about how shitty it is than there is substance in the movie. So I almost like I want to kind of go back and like watch it again now just because now that I talk about it, it's like
Was it really that bad? And
yeah,
then you go back and you're like, oh, was that bad?
it's like I think I just blocked it. It's kind of one of those movies where like there's other ones like that, like say like the new Nightmare on Elm Street movie, where every year I'm like, is it as bad as I remember? Maybe I should give it another chance, and then I'll watch it and be like, oh yeah, it sucks. But then I
Well, and they
started
always
to like
have
doubt
those
myself.
retrospectives. They always have those retrospectives. Like 20 years later, they'll be like, "Here's why this movie doesn't suck as much as you thought it would.
Yeah,
This one is gonna suck in 20 years.
yeah.
This
People
is
are
gonna
saying that
suck in
about the
30."
people are saying about the like the second Joker movie that just came out and everyone hates. They're like, in 20 years, people will look back and say it's a genius movie. And it's like, well, we'll see. Lucky day.
No chance.
I'm worried that like 500 years from now, when we're all gone, like
This will be the only thing that's left.
some historian will dig up like a hard drive that has a movie on it and it's going to be Lucky Day and they're going to think that that represents like filmmaking in the 2000s. It's just
Oh,
like this does not represent us
if there
as
was ever a
humanity.
mummy's curse that needs to be buried, it's this movie.
And the thing is, like, yeah, like Roger Avery, like I love Killing Zoe. I haven't seen some of his other movies, but he co-wrote Pulp Fiction, some of the scenes in that.
Yeah,
So he's from that kind of group of guys, and he's made good stuff. And then what happened? Like
I
it's
know. That's what I keep thinking is how did these decisions come together? I mean, we could spend all day talking about the same thing. Like, it's just so baffling how these decisions came together, how anybody watched an edit of this, even a daily, and was like, yep, we are on the right track.
I'm just wondering if like maybe Roger Avery wrote it, he directed it, but Crispin Glover, he's a pretty famous actor. Maybe Roger Avery kind of like
Maybe
looked
threw
up
his
to
weight
him.
around a little bit.
So he didn't. He's like, oh, everyone's acting over the top, and Roger Avery didn't have the heart to be like, dude, like dial it back. So he just kind of like, okay, this guy's a famous
Well, Crispin
actor.
Glover's pretty crazy. Have you ever seen the films he's made?
I've like obviously Back to the Future. I watched like his version of Willard.
No, no, the one that he directed.
Oh no, I
I think
haven't.
it's called What Is It or something along those lines. I have to look it up. You can't find a copy. He's only ever screened it for like other people. He's nuts in the way that like that stereotypical like I am an actor and kind of nuts. Like I'll put my left shoe on and then my right shoe, and then I'll go make a movie where Shirley Temple like does the Nazi salute for 15 minutes, which is what happened in that movie that he made.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, I mean, you can find it on YouTube, the famous clip when he was younger and he was on David Letterman.
Oh
When he was
man, he was so awkward on that.
and he was like, on, LSD or something, I'm assuming. And yeah, but it was so weird that finally, David Letterman had to get up and like walk away because he was kind of like, if you're in danger, get the fuck off the stage. And
You know,
Crispin Glover, he was getting up, he started doing like karate moves, and so that's just
that's
like,
whose
okay,
dance moves I was emulating in Grotesque too. I was like, do you ever see his dance moves in Friday the
oh yeah,
13th? See,
Friday the 13th part
I
four.
was pulling his dance moves. I was like, let me do the Crispin Glover
Yeah.
moves.
The thing is, he is like, he was like that Friday the 13th part four. He was one of my favorite parts in that. Like his character was awesome,
He's
and
a good actor. He's a very good actor. He's
yeah,
just crazy.
it's just apparently you have to. And things we don't know who to blame. Is that his fault, or did Roger Avery tell him
Yeah.
to do it like that? It's like maybe he just needs to be restrained. It's just I wonder would this movie have been good if they gave up the French accent thing? If everyone played it American, would it have been good?
No, I don't think so. Because like it's still, I feel like if I don't even know, like he should have had a co-writer. He should have had somebody to be like, no, 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 Roger, this is not how normal people interact.
Well, I'm sure he had other people on his crew and on his team. Like he probably has like a wife or someone that could have been like, okay, look, we got to sit down and have a chat because this movie sucks. Like even with the stuff I do, like in Hotbox, there's certain lines or whatever where people be like, that's not that funny or whatever. I don't think that works. It's like okay, whatever. You'll cut that out and you take. You can take other people's opinions, but I find it hard to believe no one spoke up and was like, "Are you sure this is funny?" And he just never questioned himself. Like,
It's just, yeah, it's just I think it's just one of those situations where someone is in such a power position that everybody around him is afraid to question him, so he just gets to get away with shit, and then like,
which is
yeah.
weird because he's not Spielberg, he's not Tarantino, he's not a big director. He's
But
hasn't
those are
done
usually the worst guys, I find,
maybe.
is like those like higher upper mid-tier guys who are not like the cream of the cream are usually the worst guys because they have a little bit of a like a like a complex because they're middle of the road and they're just kind of like, damn it, I'm gonna have to make it everybody else's problem.
He's like even movies like say Madam Web, those ones that everyone trashes. I watch it to see how bad it is, and it's kind of like it's not
Well,
really
you can enjoy it.
it's not bad enough to be super shit. It's just kind of like just another generic Marvel movie, whatever. Like
Well,
it's
then
rare
you
that
can
I see
find
someone I
fun in the
hate.
memes and the like you said, the incompetence or like the funny things that they do in the film or the things that they think are cool, like the hey kids cool kind of stuff. But like this has none of that.
Like, is this supposed to be for like the old school Pulp Fiction crowd that haven't had their fix in a while, or is this supposed to be like this is geared towards a new generation of people? Of is this geared towards like young people? Like, I don't
Uh,
see who this is like. Is
who's
it
this
geared
meant for?
towards
This is
French
made
people?
specifically for Roger Avery. That's the only person this film is made for.
What would you give it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Goose egg. This
Yeah,
is a 0 for me.
I think I might have to give like the zero score is kind of the same as a 10. I have to leave a bit of wiggle room just in case I see something worse. So I'll give it a 1.
Okay.
The cinematography was like it looked kind of good. I mean, it looked fine. So I'll give it a 1. They finished a movie and put it out. They deserve a 1.
Okay.
Um, and that way, if I ever see something worse, I can give it like a point 5. Yeah.
God, what do you think would be worse than this?
If there is a movie out there, if anyone knows a movie worse than this, like
Send them over. I'd
because
like
there's
to hear it.
movies, there's like like The Room, Troll 2, Birdemic. There's all those movies.
But they aren't
Samurai
worse.
Cop.
They're enjoyable
They're
still.
good. Like I freaking love those movies because
If
they're
you
fun to
think
watch.
you know a worse film than Lucky Day, and you might have to watch Lucky Day to confirm this, so I'm sorry for you. But if you think you know a worse film than Lucky Day, I urge you to subscribe, to like, and then to comment what that worst film is. And we will watch it and we will decide.
All right, so I guess that's it for this one. We'll be back. Yeah, if you have any movie you want us to review, good or bad, let us know in the comments, and we just might do it. And we'll see everyone next time.
See you guys next time.